Water. Earth. Fire. Air. My grandmother used to tell me stories about the old days, a time of peace, when the Avatar kept balance between the Water Tribes, Earth Kingdom, Fire Nation, and Air Nomads. But that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked. 100 years passed and my brother and I discovered the new Avatar, an airbender named Aang. And although his airbending skills are great, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone. But I believe Aang can save the world.
Hey everyone, it's Soul here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This week's video is going to be a bit of a shorter one as I am currently away on vacation at the time of you guys watching this, but I still wanted to pre-record something and make sure that you guys had a video for this week. I also feel that my usual sort of dissecting and analyzing might be a bit redundant for this particular show, since there are an insane amount of in-depth looks and discussions on this show already. If you haven't figured it out by now, today I will be talking about Nickelodeon's Avatar the Last Airbender. While I might still get a little analytical, I mainly want to point out and talk about why I personally love this show. It is the first television show that I can remember getting a feeling of awe and excitement around in relation to the art of storytelling behind it, and for that memory alone, I just had to make this video. Before we jump in though, please remember to hit that like button, click subscribe to see more videos from me, and leave a comment down below. Here is your one and only warning that this video contains spoilers. Alright, grab your staff and let's fly in. Avatar the Last Airbender is a 3-season long animated show that aired on Nickelodeon from 2005 to 2008. Now, I was still quite young at that time, and my parents were a little bit strict when it came to television time, so sadly, I cannot say that I was one of the many kids that ran home from school to make sure that they caught the latest episode. However, as I grew up in the later years of elementary school, I did get to see more and more episodes on TV, but they were usually out of order and were sometimes the same few filler episodes. From my memory, the episode where they crossed the canyon, as well as the last few episodes in Season 1 and of course the series finale, are what I remember being played as reruns the most. It wasn't until I was in middle school that I actually sat down and watched all 3 seasons in order, and that is when I got that first feeling of inspiration and appreciation towards the writing. During that time, I was so shocked and impressed as to how they were able to take such a dark topic and turn it into the basis for a children's show. To this day, I am still very impressed with the writer's accomplishment. And yes, watching the show as an adult, there are a few moments that feel just a smidge too childish, or they might not exactly make sense. But for the most part, that balance still holds up very well. I have, since then, watched through this show way too many times, probably on average once every 2 or 3 years, and I am always finding new things or aspects of the characters to appreciate every time I rewatch it. I think my appreciation for the show kind of grew along with me as I grew up as a person myself. I remember when I was really young, Katara and Aang were the characters that I kind of looked up to. I wanted to be Katara and I wanted to be a waterbender whenever I played with friends at school or with my sisters about who gets to be what bender. But throughout high school, I realized how well thought out Sokka's and Zuko's plots and character developments were, and that they weren't just there for comedic relief or as a potential antagonist. When in college, I came to have a new appreciation for Toph's character, as well as began to love Ty Lee's character development. And with the latest bang of popularity happening with the show, I believe it was during 2020 when everyone all over the world seemed to be watching this show. I really loved seeing and learning more about this world. There was so many theories and videos on the step-by-step writing techniques used to explain, for example, Aang and Zuko as parallel characters, and I just find that I'm always able to learn something new from this show as well as from the fans who keep putting out new content and keep analyzing the story further. And I personally find it a bit ironic as to how so many people are always finding new things to discuss because this show, it is so incredibly simplistic at the root of the plot. Not to draw too many comparisons to its sequel, but when you look at Legend of Korra, there are so many new enemies and a lot more events that happen at a bit faster pace, whereas Avatar the Last Airbender has one big bad enemy at the end of the show, and we get to kind of take our time and go along for the ride with these characters. I think that this show, in many ways, showcases that sometimes simplicity of events breeds the best growth in the characters. And if you guys have watched any of my other videos, you know that a connection to the main characters, whether it's a television show, movie, or video games, is something that I find very important in determining how well done the writing is or isn't. Now, there are some last things that I just want to quickly point out that I personally love in this show. The first is the world building. Just in general, I am always impressed with how writers are able to come up with lore, history, climate, lifestyles, and so much more in any fictional world. And in this show, the length that the writers went to with additions of legends, the events of the past avatars, the lore of certain villages and civilizations, it's all really impressive and it makes the show so much more lively to watch since there's always new types of people to meet and history to learn. The next thing that I love is all of the rules around bending. All of the best magic systems in stories, and yes, I know this isn't magic, but it counts since it is fictional powers. All of the best magic systems, they have to have rules surrounding them because not only does it make it feel just a little bit more realistic, but it also helps avoid writers relying on plot armor, as well as helps create certain events, difficulties, and more possibilities in terms of the writing. Think to, for example, Toph struggling to create metal bending, or Tezuko trying to learn to redirect lightning and then not being able to at the end of the show because his technique is wrong. Bending is not something that can always be simply performed because of the rules and regulations that the writers have written into it. Now, while I wish I could leave you with my favorite episode or my favorite character, I honestly don't think I have one since I'm always finding new appreciation in all of these characters. I will say that my least favorite episode is The Great Divide, simply because it was always being replayed on television when I was growing up. And I'll also say that my favorite filler episode is probably Ember Island Players, simply because the comedy in that is really enjoyable, and there is still some character development in that one episode alone. This show will always hold a special place in my heart because it is one of the earliest memories I have in relation to the desire to learn more about the writing behind television and film. I think this show is the best American television show to ever be created, and while that may be a little bit of bias, I will stick to my word because I feel that this show is more than worthy of that title. I hope you all love this show as much as I do. If you guys like my discussion, please hit that like button down below and leave your thoughts in the comment section. While you're down there, click subscribe to see more videos from me, and turn on notifications if you want to be notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you future souls next time. Bye, guys!